Hi, what's good, YouTube? Welcome back to another reaction. Today we got the Crimean War. The history matters. Let's jump straight into this one, map.
1853 and the Ottoman Empire has declared war on the Russian Empire. Why? Well, there's lots of reasons, but the most immediate was that the Russian Emperor Nicholas I was legally the protector of Christians within the Ottoman Empire. Napoleon III, the Emperor of the French, wanted this position, and the Ottomans caved and gave it to him. This was unacceptable, and so Nicholas sent his armies into the Ottomans' Danubian principalities, nominally to protect the Christians of the empire. This led to the Ottoman Sultan Abdulmajid I declaring war on the Russians. For the great powers of Europe, the war wasn't something they wanted. The British didn't want the Ottomans to lose and for Russia to gain too much.
Wait, what year was this based on?
Basically looking to throw off the memories of the Napoleonic Wars by increasing their international prestige. As for the Austrian Empire, they were on good terms with the Russians, since the Russians had aided them by putting down the Hungarian Revolution of
1848. Boom.
1848. However, Austria was concerned with Russia's growing influence in the Balkans, especially its links to the Slavic and Orthodox populations there. Prussia simply opted for neutrality. So the Russians quickly won a naval victory at the Battle of Sinop, sinking the Ottoman fleet there, but after that action was sparse. By 1854, Britain and France were concerned that the Russians would be victorious, and so gave them an ultimatum: withdraw your forces or risk Anglo-French intervention. The Russians did not, and so both Britain and France declared war. So Russia did have a gargantuan army, but its numbers were limited by the system of serfdom, since the serfs were needed to work and the nobles didn't want to give them rifles. By mid-1854, the Russians...
Well, you got a bit of a problem there.
...principalities, which the Austrians then occupied. The main assault against the Russians began in September of 1854, with the Allies landing in Crimea. They pushed to the south, looking to capture the important fortress of Sevastopol. The Russians chose to meet them here.
What is Crimea? Is Crimea a country? Is that the whole is that the whole of Crimean?
Were pushed back by the British and French forces. One of the reasons for the Russian loss was that Allied troops had been issued with the new rifled muskets, which had greater range and accuracy than those of the Russians. After their victory at Ulma, the Allies moved south and encircled Sevastopol. The British suffered from issues.
I feel like Russia is like, they're so powerful, right? They've got the numbers, but they're always lacking. Like, whenever you see them in the war, right? No matter what year, like time period, they're always just lacking behind with their, like, you know, their equipment.
Professionalism during the Crimean campaign. Their officers weren't selected on merit, and the soldiers were forced to consume rations. The horrendous conditions saw the spread of disease, mostly cholera, which killed far more soldiers than combat did. One nurse, Florence Nightingale, was instrumental in reforming medical practices in the military and made many demands for improvement. Anywho, the Russians didn't simply sit there and let the Allies besiege Sevastopol.
Bro, if you're not from the UK, well, I assume she's famous all around the world, but like Florence Nightingale, oh my god, she's so, but literally when you're at school you learn about her first.
They launched multiple attacks against the Allied positions, the most famous being their attempt to recapture Balaclava in order to break the siege. This battle saw,
oh my god, is that actually a place? Balaclava? What the fuck?
A complete slaughter of the British cavalry. So 1855 was a big year for the war. One, Sardinia joined on the Allied side and sent many thousands of troops to aid them. This was mostly so it could discuss Italian unification with Britain and France in a good light. Two, the British and French began naval assaults in the Baltic Sea to disrupt shipping and hurt Russian trade, but also to prevent the movement of troops south to Crimea. And three, Nicholas I of Russia died and was succeeded by Alexander II, who sought to continue the war until victory. This led to the Russians attempting several more times to relieve Sevastopol, including an attempted invasion of the Ottoman Empire via the Caucasus. All of their attempts failed, and in September of 1855, Sevastopol fell, mostly to a French assault. The Crimean War was now lost for the Russians, and they agreed to a peace treaty in early 1856. The conditions were that 1, all sides would give back any occupied territory except for Russia, who would lose a tiny bit of territory here. 2, Russia would no longer be the protector of Christians within the Ottoman Empire, and 3, the Black Sea was to remain demilitarized. For the Russians, the war was a complete humiliation, and it became clear that major reforms were needed. For the Ottomans, the war brought back some of its prestige and was a stopgap in its decline. For the British, the war, whilst a victory, was embarrassing. For the French, the war was truly a victory in all spheres. They'd won back a great deal of prestige, and they demonstrated that their army was once again the greatest in Europe. After which, France and Napoleon III would ride a high forevermore, and absolutely nothing or no one whatsoever could ruin it.
Oh, really?
Thank you for watching, and a special thanks.
Really good video from History Matters. I enjoyed that one. Hopefully you guys did enjoy it too. If you did, make sure to leave a thumbs up, subscribe. If you guys got any videos you want me to react to, let them down in the comment section below, and I'll see you all in the next video.